वृंदावन हरि जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद शुतर शुतस्मार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद शुतर शुतस्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुतस्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुतस्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुतस्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु महाभगवत शिल बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल विश्व शुद्ध सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वार्ग की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री गोपाल sorry I got distracted श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। हिज भजन रहस्य की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। Just looking at the calendar really quick. Oh, today is Tirtha Maharaj's disappearance day. Sripad Tirtha Maharaj ki jai. Dear Tirobab, Titi ki jai. I don't know if it's Tirobab, but जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। जय श्री चतुर्मास्य व्रत की जय। All right. Actually, this background is looking a little sad. Give me 1 second. We're just going to put some books. Yeah. Doesn't really make a difference, does it? Anyways, okay. Okay, let's do the Mangala Charan. अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। धन्यवाद। मेरा गुरु भाई। Sorry. गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धांत सरस्वती त्रिविदितो गौरीय गुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोर संकीर्तनाय माया भारत निंगिलो दरगतान उद्धृत्य जीवानिमान् कृष्ण प्रेम सुधाब्दिकाहन सुखान् राधात् प्रभुं तं भजे। वंदे भक्ति विनोदं श्री गौर शक्ति स्वरूपकं भक्ति शास्त्रज्ञ सम्राजं राधा रस सुधा निधिं। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौर शक्ति स्वरूपाय Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vrishabhanusutan Vitavamatanu Yamuna Tatanagarananda Sutam Murali Kalagita Vinoraparam Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunjavidon Smara Gaura Gadadhara Kelikalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Pakshachara Shinu Gaura Gadadhara Charukatam Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunjavidon Tavai Basmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vidyaya Devi Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshan Kshiptascha Kamaditaranга Madhe Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Saruparaya Sangha Harsha Shesha Bhoshanam Shikshanashtakatya Krishna Kirtanaika Poshanam Prema Nama Matra Vishva Jivanaika Sambharam Prema Dhama Deva Meva Nomi Gaura Sundaram Premor Bhavita Harsharya Dvega Lapitam Gaurachandrasya Bhagyavadbhir Prabhur Shikshashtak Shlok Jay Pore Shune Krishne Prem Bhakti Tar Bare Dine Dine Shikshashtaka. Oh, we'll go through this after. Okay. Whoever reads or hears the Lord Shikshashtak verses, that person's praying bhakti for Krishna will continue to grow day by day. All right. Dandavat pranams, Nari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, and Mahibart Prabhu, Dandavat pranams Prabhu, and Vidya Lalasa Didi, Ganga Mataji, and I don't know who else is there. I'm guessing Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Krishna Mai Didi, Rohini Nandan Prabhu. Yeah, if you write a comment, I'll see your name. Also, pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi and Jayadev Prabhu and Revati Didi, Manjari Didi, everybody else like that. Dandavat pranams. So this morning was a bit of a scattered morning. I'm not very focused right now, but when I start reading, lots of times I focus. So, but yeah, today we are going to be reading about the 4 types of anarthas and how those 4 anarthas are further divided into 4 types. So there's 16 anarthas altogether. And this whole chapter of this Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana and Bhajana-rahasya, the whole chapter is so, it's all about how we, well, at least everything that I've seen so far. I haven't gone through the whole chapter yet, but it seems to me all the ways that first we identify the anarthas, and then we see all these many very helpful verses for how to remove each one of these anarthas. We'll be going through many verses from explaining the first how the most powerful thing to remove anarthas is Nam Sankirtan, how we must take shelter at the feet of Shri Guru, and then all these verses from Upadeshamrita and also from Manashiksha and many other things like that. So these are all gifts that Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, from Srimad Bhagavatam, all these very helpful tools that we have to all these verses. If we can memorize them, then we can remember them at any, like, it's probably good to remember them every day. And then when we find ourselves engaging in something, you know, and like acting on one of our anarthas, then we have this verse to remind us, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to do that. Anyhow, let's see the on Haribo Vidyalala-sadhana and Sripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj. Oh yes, and Vidyalala-sadhana is for us here in India, it was Srila Bhakti Kamala Govinda Maharaj's disappearance day was yesterday. But yeah, it is Tirtha Maharaj's disappearance day today here in Navadvip. So, yeah, maybe I can maybe I can just share some remembrances. I think I've shared some remembrances of him before here, but I'll just, yeah, because Tirtha Maharaj is a very extraordinary person. I have lots of things to say about him. I traveled with him a lot. So yeah, maybe at the end of the program we can. All right. So let me just open up this file. Where is it? Oh, and another thing, I just got this file back just now, like right before I started the program. I got this file back. 1 second, where is it? Yeah, I think it will be in my downloads. Yeah, I got so we're making a chapter. I'll show you right now, actually, just very quickly, and then maybe we can go through this as well. Okay, so this is going to be the Akadashi chapter in the upcoming Gaudiya Gita Gucha. It's going to have 3 parts. This is I just sent everything to be laid out, and then this is just the initial layout, but we usually change things a lot after it's been laid out, just so you know. So this is like very rough draft. But and there's a beautiful painting by Neela that we're going to put here, full page painting of Jagannath with Mahaprasad in front of him. So this is Shri Akadashi, Paran, and Mahaprasad. This will be 1 chapter in the songbook, a full chapter. And here's the contents. So first it will start with Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu, and then that song from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Shri Hari Vasare Hari Kirtana Vidhan, that very long, beautiful song about Mahaprabhu's observance of Akadashi in the house of Srivas Pandit with all of his associates and everything that they did. It's such a beautiful song. And now we're going to be adding in a new song about, so there's Sriman Mahaprabhu's observance of Shri Hari Vasar or Akadashi, and then Sriman Mahaprabhu's observance of breaking Akadashi, Paran. And this is a song from, I think it is Prem Vivarta. Yeah, I translated it. But it was a while ago. I can't even remember the book. I think it was Prem Vivarta by Jagadananda Pandit. It's a full chapter we included. And then, so maybe we can sing that song at the end of the program because today's Dwadashi here in India. It has Mahaprabhu's observance of Akadashi and then it ends with Dwadashi. So even if it's Akadashi for you right now, it'd still be relevant, this song. Ekadin Bodhahaya. And then I just now gave titles to all these Mahaprasad songs so that you can. So I haven't checked these with Vajanti Mala yet, though, so the titles will probably change, but this is just my initial title. So Krishna's merciful gift to conquer the wicked tongue. That's for Sharira Avidya Jal. And then these are all songs that you're supposed to sing while you take prasad. So when we take prasad, we should be silent and like we should, because it's said that you should be silent when you take prasad, right? Or you should do mona. You shouldn't talk while you're taking prasad. Actually, whenever I go to see Shraman Maharaj, if he's taking prasad, there's no way he'll say anything. It's like a vow that he made that whenever he takes prasad, he doesn't speak. And so I just have to sit there quietly and wait for him to finish eating, and then he'll say something. So what do you want? Like that, after he finishes eating. So, but you should do kirtan while you take prasad. And so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote songs so that you can sing it while you're eating every one of these items. So when you eat any green leafy vegetables, when you eat spinach or any kind of shock, then there's this song. It's in Shantipur, Gaur Nitai relish Advaita Acharya's divine shock. And Mahaprabhu glorifies the shock. Esha Krishna Ashvati. This certainly, anyways, it's a beautiful song, all about the glories of shock. And then the third song is Madhavendra Puri praises Shachi Devi's cooking before all the sannyasis. And he goes through all the different items that she made, Mocha Kanta, Chorchori, or something like that. Yeah, all these different items that she cooked. And then the fourth song is Chaitanya, Nityananda, Srivas Thakur, and all the other devotees. They feast on sweets at Goridas Pandit's home in Ambika Kalna. So there's a whole song to sing when you eat sweets. And then whenever you eat khichdi, we have the song, Mahaprabhu praises Lord Jagannath's khichdi before the devotees. I memorized this song when I was in Puri because whenever we'd have Jagannath khichdi come, then I would sing it. And then this is for when you eat the balabo. You know, like after Mangal Arti time, they offer, lots of times they'll offer like makan with mishri and different things like that. So this is when you eat the Mangal Arti offering. Or anytime that you eat cream, curds, butter, kheer, all these different things. So Yashoda and Rohini feed Krishna and Balaram cream, curds, and butter before they go to the forest. Isn't that so cool? They're all very short, very happy, beautiful songs with all these pastimes. So then when you're taking prasad, you can have a very deep meditation. Yeah, that would be a fun program actually, just to go very thoroughly through these songs and like maybe we could even memorize them. I think that would make such a big difference. Every time you eat, then you have all these pastimes going on in your head. Anyhow, I'm talking way. Let's move on to Shikshashtak. I'm just seeing. Oh, and Hari Bol Shubhananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All right, where is it? Open up recent. Bhajana-rahasya chapter 2. Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. Oh, I forgot to recite Shikshashtakam, don't we? Okay. Cheto tabagni nirvapanam Shreya vitaranam Vidyavadu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam Purnamrita svadanam Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudaya Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Medrishamiha Janinanuraga Trinarapi Sunicena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Amanadena Kirtaniya Sada Hari Na dhanam na janam na sundarim Kavitam va jagarisha kamaye Mama janmani janmanishware Bhavatar bhaktir ahaitu tvai Ainandatanu kinkaram Patitang mam vishame bhavam buddho Kripaya tava para pankaja Sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya Nayanam galadashudharaya Vadanam gadgadharudhaya gira Pulakair nichitang vapu kada Tava nama grahane bhavishyati Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishaitam Shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me Ashlishabha pararatang pinashtumam Adarshanan marma hatang parotu va Yatha tatha va vidadhatulam pato Mat prananatastu sa eva na paraha. So we're going through the second verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka. And also, just so you know, this is like when I'm explaining the second verse, this isn't actually like the correct Sanskrit explanation. Because like nam nam is plural genitive, so that means of the names. And bahuda, bahu means many, and then bahuda means manifold, or like I don't know, like all these. And so I'm not explaining it from a grammatical point. I'm just explaining it how I understand it. But yeah, I would like to be able to explain it more properly. I think I'm close to getting it properly, but not totally. Anyhow, so you have manifested akari, you have made or you have manifested. This is past tense from the krit. So it's like akari, you have made, but are manifested. Bahuda, many names. You have manifested many names. Nam nam akari bahuda. There in those names, arpita, you have placed or you have invested nija sarva shaktis. Nija, your own sarva, all shaktis, potencies, energies. So you've invested all of your potency, all of your shakti within those names. And smarane, in remembering those names, there's no niyamita, there's no niyams, there's no restrictions, no rules or restrictions on kala, and when they may be chanted, on the time. Can be done in any time. And any time includes any condition, right? So any condition you can chant, it doesn't matter, even if you're using the toilet. We see that past some of Mahaprabhu. So any condition you can chant the name, any time or condition you can chant the name, any place. There's no restrictions. Na niyamita. Etadrishi tava kripa. Etadrishi, such. Tava kripa. Such is tava, your kripa, your mercy. Such is your mercy. Etadrishi tava kripa. Oh, Bhagavan. However, mama, my durdaivam, my misfortune, idrisham, is such. Mama durdaivam idrisham, my misfortune is such that iha, here in these names, ajani, manifested nanuraga, no anurag. So no anurag, no spontaneous attachment and attraction to these names has been born. Ajani literally means has been born, was born. It's past tense also. So ajani is was born. So no anurag was born within me for these names. So even though you have invested your all your shakti in these names, so therefore, I've never heard anybody say this, but this is just kind of what I'm understanding, because nam and nami are non-different. Right? The name and the possessor of the name are non-different. Krishna is exactly. And Krishna has infused all of his shaktis in his names. So that means that his names are also Shaktiman, right? We say that Krishna is Shakti and Srimati Radhika, Krishna is Shaktiman and Srimati Radhika is Shakti. So Nam is also Shaktiman. All the Shakti is contained in that name. And you have made it so the name is as glorious as you are, so it's like the embodiment of glory. And but you've given us that, and not only that, you've made it so easy for us to have access to it. We can chant it at any time. You haven't given any rules or restrictions. So even though you gave us the topmost thing and you made it so easy and accessible, Durdaivam, Mama Durdaivam Idrisham. Such is your mercy that you've given us this, but Mama Durdaivam Idrisham. But my Durdaivam, my great misfortune, Idrisham, is such that even though you've given me this name so easily, made it so accessible, I have no anurag for it. And so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives verses from to explain each one of these parts, 4 verses. Gives a verse from Krishna Namastakam to explain Nam Namakari Bahudan, how Krishna has many different names, many different swarups. Anek swarup, Harinam Tua Aneka Swarup. And gives a verse how Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Or was it Skanda Puran? I think it's Skanda Puran. Yeah, Skanda Puran. He gives a verse how Krishna takes all the Shakti that's in any other practice, any other good act, or anything, and he put it all in Harinam. So all the Shakti that you get from any activity, you get that easily from Harinam. That was from the Skanda Puran. And then he gives in the verse from the Vishnavar, I forgot what it's called, Vishnavar Sutra, I forgot, it's some name like that. But it's about how Harinam, Krishna has not given any rules or regulations for when you can chant the Harinam. You can chant it whether you're clean or impure or any condition, you can chant Harinam. And then he gives a verse about Durdaivam. What is the meaning of this misfortune? And that really sparks off the rest of the chapter, I think. This word Durdaivam. Let's look at that verse again. Let me just find it. What is the key word from that verse? Forgot how it starts. Just trying to remember. Anyways, I think it's text 4. Text 4. Oh, and Haribol Nanda Nandan Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, and Champak Mataji. Haribol. Okay, it's text 5. This verse. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, verse 7. Yesterday I tried to explain it following this translation. Let's see if we can try it in the word order. I don't think it actually works to do it in the word order. Let's see. So Daivena means by fate, Patadiyo. These people that are being talked about, their Diya, their intelligence has been stolen away or destroyed. Patta means stolen or destroyed. Their intelligence has been destroyed, Daivena, by fate. How? Bhavata prasangat sarva shubho upashamanat vimukendriyat ye. So those who their indriya, their senses, indriya senses, and it says vimukha, and then when you combine these words together, it becomes vimukendriya. So that means their senses are turned away, vimukha. They are averse or turned away from bhavata prasangat. This is Brahma speaking to Vishnu, I think. Yeah. So those who their senses are turned away, vimukha, to prasangat. Prasangat means narrations, bhavata, of you. Narrations about you. So harikatha, basically. Those narrations of you, which are sarva, which are all ashubha, upashamanat, from which all inauspiciousness, all ashubha, sarva ashubha, is upashamanat, from which it is all destroyed. Or literally, I think it means is quieted, or it's calmed down. I don't know, but anyways, let's just say destroyed. That's what it says in the translation. And so even though these narrations about you are all auspicious, they destroy all inauspiciousness, still, these wretched people, these dina, these wretched people, just for a lava lesh lava. Lava means just a fraction, and lesh also means like a fraction. So like an atomic particle of just a fraction of kam sukh, of sense enjoyment. They kurvanti, they engage in akushalani, in inauspicious acts, shashvat, constantly, because their minds or their hearts are abhibhuta. Their manasa is abhibhuta, is completely overwhelmed with lobh, with greed. And so this is the definition. These are the characteristics of misfortune described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So now we know, okay, that's what Durdaiva means in this verse. But why? Why do I have this Durdaiva? What's the call? Oh, and then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, sorry, I forgot to mention this. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he makes this verse into a personal prayer. This Srimad Bhagavatam verse here. Tomar prasanga sarva ashubha karoya karva. But let's move through this quickly. I'm not gonna go to the meaning of that, but it's beautiful. She prasange na koilo jatana. Okay, I'll just read this part. So kama sukha lesh ashe, in hopes of attaining just a fraction, just the slightest trace of sense pleasure, of kam sukh, out of this greed, I greatly exert myself, I exert myself in performing all these inauspicious acts. And She Prasange, and for these narrations, your Harikatha, na koilo jatana, even though I work so hard and for these inauspicious things, I don't even put in a little effort, or like I don't care. I don't put in any care or effort into receiving your Harikatha and to hearing your Harikatha. Okay, so why are we in this condition? Why do we have, when Krishna has made it so easy for us, he's not made any rules or restrictions, and he gave us the topmost thing, why still, and we've heard the glories of how, we know everything, we have it. Why do I work so much more hard for pleasing my senses and all these inauspicious mundane acts? Why do I have this misfortune? So then he gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam about how Vyasadeva, Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranihite Male Apashyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Cha Tad Apashayam. So through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, Vyasadeva, Manasi, in his mind, with his mind, he made his mind samyak, completely pranihite, completely fixed his mind. And he made his mind amale, with his mind completely purified through this Bhakti Yoga. And so when he did this, then apashyat, then he had darshan. He beheld the Purusham Purnam, the Supreme Person, the Purnam, fully complete, the absolute complete Lord. And also, Cha means and, he also saw Maya, who's Tad Apashayam, who was sheltered by that supreme absolute truth, the Purusham Purnam. And also, he also saw the Jivas, who were by that Maya, Yaya refers to that Maya, so who by that Maya, some mohito, who were bewildered by that Maya. And and how are they bewildered? Atmanam tri gunatmakam. They thought themselves to be tri gunatmakam, to be made of the three modes of material nature, to be a product of this material energy, even though paro api, even though they're transcendental to this material energy. The jiva is pure. The jiva is not made of matter. But by this Maya, samohito, the jivas are bewildered into thinking that they are also products of the material energy. Manute, they consider themselves that way. And so that is the anartha. That is the misfortune. This is the artha means that which has value. That's fortune. Fortune is artha. And anartha is the opposite of that. Misfortune, that which has no value. And so thinking themselves to be a product of the material energy, and they forget that they're actually they are transcendental to this material energy. So from this anarthas, tatkritam, all the activities that come from that, chavipadyate. I need to look up this word avipadyate. God, yeah, I need to look up the word that. And so now, so in order to, it's the same word, upashama. So in order uh, and I'm just going to say destroy, just to make it easy. But yeah, in order to destroy these anarthas, because Shakshat Bhakti Yogam, that the only way to destroy these anarthas is through direct Bhakti Yogam, by direct engagement in service to Krishna, Bhakti Yoga, to Adhokshaj, Krishna who is completely transcendental. There's no material senses or anything, he's completely transcendental. So, but lokasya ajanato, the people do not know this. So Vidvamsh, the learned Vyasadeva, he compiled this Sattvata Samhitam, this Sattvata scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, this how do you translate Sattvata Samhitam? Anyways, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a Sattvata Samhita. And so this segues now. We see what our condition is, and now we know why we're in this condition. And now we see how Vyasadeva has given us everything we need to get us to destroy our condition. Our misfortune is that we have these anarthas. And anarthas are of 4 types. And we're going to go through those 4 types of anarthas now. And then after we go through the 4 anarthas, so now we know what we know what the problem is, and now we're seeing very clearly what is the issue? What are these anarthas that I have? And then after that, we will have many verses for how to destroy each one of these anarthas. Very clear methodology for how to destroy them. So anarthas or misfortune are of 4 kinds. This is described in the Amnaya Sutra Vyakhya. This is text 7 of Bhajana-rahasya. Okay. Maya mugdhasya jivasya geyo nartash chaturvida hridorbalyam chaparadho satrishna tattva vibhrama. The anarthas of the living entities enchanted by the illusory energy are of 4 kinds. There is 1, illusion about one's real identity. That's Swarup Brahm. 2, hankering for what is temporary. That's Asat Trishna. Then 3, offenses, aparad. And 4, weakness of heart, Hriday Dorbalya. They bind the living entity to the material world and entangle him in its miseries. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this Bengali verse. Maya mugdha jiver anartha chatushtai asat trishna hridaya dorbalya vishmoy aparad swarup vibhrama e chari jahate sangsara bandha vipatti vistari. So the Maya Mugdha Jeev, the Jeev, which is the Jivas who are bewildered by Maya, they have Anartha Chatushtoy. They have 4 types of anarthas. Jiva Anartha Chatushtoy. The Jivas have 4 types of anarthas. What are they? Asat Trishna, Hriday Dorbalya, these 2 which are Vishmoy, which are filled with poison, and Aparad and Swarup Brahma. So these 4, Chari, Jahate, these 4 by which Jahate, Sangsar Bandha, by which these jivas are bound to samsara, to this material existence, and vipatti vistari, and which greatly expands their vipatti. What's vipatti? Vipatti is, I don't know, like, I'm just looking at the dictionary. I don't want to give that. Vipatti. Vipatti means vipad. Okay, it's same as vipad as vipatti. So vipad means it's the jiva's calamity, their misfortune. Misfortune is a good word here, but their danger, jeopardy, adversity, calamity, misfortune. So it increases the jiva's calamities and misfortune. It increases the danger for the jivas also, all these words. So vipatti. Okay, so now we're reading our Srila Gurudev's Vritti, his commentary on this. Let's see. 1 second. So, Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Bhajana-rahasya Vritti. Shri Krishna Dvaipayan Ved-vyas manifested all the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, and so forth. Even though he had realization of the supreme absolute truth. Oh, whoops, I'm not reading the right. Oh, sorry. We already read this, right? Wait. Yeah, we already read this. This is a great example. Anyways, whatever. Let's just move on. Sorry, guys. That was close. Okay, so the living entities seized by Maya and derailed from pure Dharma, they wander in this material existence, falsely thinking that they are its enjoyers. 4 anarthas are noticed in these living entities. There's Swarup Brahm, Asat Trishna, Aparad, and Hriday Dorbalya. So Swarup Brahm, illusion about one's Swarup, who one is, like one's true nature. There's Asat Trishna, that's thirsting. Trishna means thirst for the Asat, for the temporary material objects of this world, that which is the opposite of Sat. And Aparad, offenses, and Hriday Dorbalya. Dorbalya means weakness of Hriday, of heart, weakness of heart. So anarthas are the collection of that which has no purpose. Artha also means purpose, and un is the opposite of that, so it means unartha, no purpose. That's another way to translate anarthas. That which has no purpose. The jiva's only purpose, the jiva's only artha, the jiva's only purpose, their only wealth is service to Sri Krishna. But in this material existence, he is engaged in Maya's service. Hence, this is an anartha. Okay, now he's going to break down these 4 types of anarthas. First is Swarup Brahm. The pure living entity is a tiny transcendental particle, Chid Anu, and the eternal servant of Sri Krishna. Just as the conditioned living entity experiences form, taste, smell, touch, etc. through his material senses, the pure living entity experiences transcendental form, taste, and so forth through his transcendental senses, forgetting that I am an infinitesimal particle of spiritual consciousness, and I am Krishna's servant. So forgetting this, the jiva becomes conditioned and wanders about in this material existence. The primary anartha of the living entity is his failure to realize his swarup, his true nature. So that's Swarup Brahm. Now, Asat Trishna, thirsting for the Asat. To consider the material body to be me, to consider perishable objects in relation to the body to be mine, and to desire happiness from perishable objects, this is all called Asat Trishna, thirsting for the temporary perishable objects in relation to the body and mind. That's Asat Trishna. And now Aparad. Okay, so this is the Sanskrit definition, short definition of Aparad. It means Apagata Radho Yasmad Ityaparadaha. So Radha means affection. It means priti. So that action which causes Radha, affection, to vanish is called Aparadha, offense. It's a very powerful, like very strong definition, huh? That which destroys, which causes Radha, affection, to vanish. Aparadha, it's against affection. That is aparad, offense. Aparad, at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and at the lotus feet of his devotees, decreases priti, decreases this radha or priti. So I guess radha and priti, this are synonymous. Radha means priti, which means affection, love. So when you make offense, it decreases your love for the Lord and his devotees. One should avoid the 10 nam aparads, the 32 seva aparads, and all the dhamma aparads. Now, the last one, hridaya daurbalya, weakness of heart. When the heart experiences illusion and distress upon the attainment, when the heart experiences illusion and distress upon the attainment or loss of that which is perishable, it is called hridaya daurbalya, weakness of heart. This anartha appears naturally in the living entity due to ignorance, and it vanishes by the cultivation of Krishna consciousness and the association of pure devotees. Okay, so now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to give a verse from this Anaya Sutra Vyakya for each one of these 4 types of anarthas. Now, as we go through them in great depth. Gurudev will go through them in great depth. So Swatattve Paratatve Cha Sadhya Sadhana Tattvayo Virodhi Vishaye Chaiva Tattva Brahmash Chaturvida. So this is Swarup Brahm. This is a verse for that. The conditioned living entity is subject to 4 kinds of Brahm, or illusion. There's Jiva Swarup Brahm, illusion regarding the Jiva's true nature. Paratattva Brahm, illusion regarding the Paratattva, the absolute truth. Then 3 is Sadhya Sadhan Tattva Brahm. So being an illusion about what the goal is and the truths about what the goal is and what is the process to attain that goal. And also, the 4th one is Bhajan Virodhi Vishay Brahm. They are an illusion about those things which are unfavorable for bhajan. That are Virodhis more than unfavorable. It's like that which is opposed to bhajan, enemies of bhajan. So they don't actually understand those topics. What is actually opposed to bhajan? So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says in Bengali, he says, Tattva Brahm Chatushtoy Bodai Visham Shriya Tattve Brahm Ar Krishna Tattve Brahm Sadhya Sadhanete Brahm Virodhi Vishaye Chari Vida Tattva Brahm Baddha Jiva Chaye. So these 4 types of Tattva Brahm. It's interesting, he calls it Tattva Brahm here, not Swarup Brahm. That makes sense, because Tattva includes all 4 things. And Swarup Brahm would be the first of those 4 types, right? Anyways, he says these are Bodoi, these are greatly Visham. Visham means deadly and harmful, injurious. It says Sviya Tattva, one's own Tattva Brahm. So Tattva regarding one's own self, one's own nature. Krishna Tattva Brahm, Sadhya Sadhanete Brahm, and Virodhi Vishayi Brahm. So these 4 types of Brahm, these binds the Jiva, all the Jivas. Jiva Chaya makes it plural, right? So all the Jivas. So Bhajana-rahasya vritti. And now Srila Gurudev is going to explain these 4 types in detail. Jiva Swarup Brahm. The living entity cannot realize his own transcendental nature due to ignorance of it. He has forgotten his real Swarup, that he is the servant of Sri Krishna, because he thinks himself to be the enjoyer. Then there's Paratattva Brahm. Who is Paratattva, the absolute truth? Not knowing this, the living entity becomes illusioned. Sometimes he worships Shiva, sometimes Brahma, and sometimes another demigod or goddess. The inability to correctly ascertain the absolute truth is called Paratattva Brahm. And now the 3rd one, Sadhya Sadhan Brahm. According to the scriptures, Krishna Prem is the only goal, it's the only sadhya. And bhakti is the only practice, it's the only sadhana. The conditioned living entity, however, is unable to decide which is his goal among sense enjoyment, liberation, and Krishna Prem, and which is his practice among karma, jnana, and bhakti. This is sadhya sadhan brahma, illusion about the goal and the process to attain it. Even if we theoretically know that the goal is bhakti, but still we think we have to do all these other things, right? And we think that, oh, I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to reach this goal and I need to reach that goal. And like we have all these other goals. So yeah, so we're in illusion about the goal and the process to attain it. No, we don't need any other goal. We only need to have one goal, and there's only one process to attain it. So if one cannot ascertain the goal, it is not possible to determine the practice. And without the practice, it is not possible to attain the goal. It is only by the mercy of Vaishnavas that one can obtain the fortune to understand that bhakti is the only auspicious spiritual practice, and prem is the only aim and object. Prem is of two kinds. There's Aishwarya Pada, prem which is full of opulence, and Madhurya Pada, prem which is full of sweetness. The acharyas have determined that the topmost goal is sweet and loving service to Shri Shri Radha Krishna under the guidance of the Vrajagopis. And now, so that was the third type of Brahm, third type of illusion, and now the fourth type is Bhajan Virodhi Vishay Brahm. So being an illusion about the Vishay, about the things that are Virodhi, that are antagonistic to Bhajan, that are against Bhajan. So doctrines other than Vaishnavism oppose Bhajan and cause bewilderment, causes this Virodhi Brahm. This especially applies to impersonalism, Mayavad, which contaminates the heart and thus renders the living entity unable to discriminate. Okay, and so now text 9, Asat Trishna. See, we only have 5 minutes left to read. My God, we've been going, I'm sorry, I talk too much. Anyhow, let's just do this. Asat Trishna is of four kinds. We'll end after this, as described in the Amnaya Sutra Vyakya. Aihikesh Vaishana Para, Trikeshu Chaishana Shubha, Bhuti Vancha Mumuksha Cha, Yasat Trishna Chaturvida. The four types of Asat Trishna, thirsting for the temporary mundane things, Asat, are as follows. Is 1. Desires for the objects of this material world. 2. Desire for heavenly pleasures, like those of Swarga. 3. Desire for mystic powers. And 4. Desire for liberation. Paratrika Aihika Eshana Bhutikam Muktikam Echari Asat Krishnanam. Huh. I actually don't know. So, probably Shubhananda understands this, but I don't totally understand what Paratrika Aihika means. But I'm guessing it just means desire for the objects of this material world. But I don't actually know exactly what each Sanskrit word means. Eshana. And then there's bhutikam, there's desire for bhuti, for attaining these, oh, no, Eshana. I'm sorry, guys, I can't explain this now because I don't know the meaning of it, but the third one is bhutikam. And then there's muktikam. Yeah, desire for bhuti, for mystic opulences, bhuti, and mukti, for liberation. So these three are Asat Krishna. So Bhajana-rahasya vritti. After we read this Bhajana-rahasya vritti, we'll finish for today. The desire to obtain that which is unrelated to Shri Krishna is known as Asat Krishna. This desire is of four kinds. 1. Desire for worldly material objects and the various endeavors to obtain them. in regards to this, Srimad Bhagavatam states, this is in the 11th canto, 3rd chapter, verse 18. It says, Karmanya, sorry, Karmanyarabhana, sorry, Karmanyarabhamanam dukkha hatya sukhaya cha. Sorry. So the conditioned living entity endeavors to obtain pleasure for the senses, but he receives only misery. He endeavors to obtain pleasure for the senses, but receives only misery. Why do I keep on saying mercy? Can't talk. So now 2, desire to obtain the pleasures of the heavenly planets and worship of various demigods and goddesses. 3, desire to obtain mystic powers in order to bewilder people with material wonders, and thereby attain wealth, worship, prestige, and so forth. Human beings are attracted to Ashtanga Yoga and to mystic powers like Anima and Laghima. And then 4, desire for liberation. So these 4 desires are all opposed to bhajan, and therefore devotees of Sri Bhagavan never accept them. Okay, they're doing Arti Tirthamart right now. Anyhow, now aparad is of 4 kinds, as mentioned in the Amnaya Sutra Vyakya. I'm just going to read the translation of these, and I'm not going to read the Priti now. Oh no, it's so short. Okay, let's just finish this off. It'll take 1 minute to read. Okay, so aparad is of 4 kinds, as mentioned in the Amnaya Sutra Vyakya. I'm just going to go a couple minutes over time. Or maybe not. Let's see. Krishna Namashu Yachit Kaneshu Cha Geya Buddha Ganar Nityam Aparadhash Chaturvidha. So the 4 kinds of aparad are as follows. 1, offenses to Krishna's name is nam aparad. 2, offenses to Krishna's deity form, seva aparad. 3, offenses to that which belongs to Krishna, or in other words, to Giriraj Govardhan, the Ganga, the Yamuna, the Dham, or the lotus feet of the devotees. And 4, offenses to other living entities, who are all infinitesimal particles of spirit belonging to Krishna. So it's Krishna name swarupe o bhakte anyanare brahma hoite aparad chatushta smare. So I am recollecting, I remember. Anyways, whatever. It's not. So in Krishna Nam and Sarup o Bhakti or Anyanare Brahm Hoite Aparad. So from these mistakes of, these aparads in Krishna Nam and Sarupe o Bhakti. That's interesting. It says Sarupe. Maybe the Krishna's deity form. I think that this is referring to Krishna's deity form. I don't know. And then Krishna's devotees and Anyanari and other people, other jivas. Yes, these are the 4 forms of aparad. Okay, now text 11. The last one. Hriday Dorvalya is of 4 kinds, as stated in the Amnaya Sutra. Tucha Sakti Putinati Matsaryam Swapratishtata Hridorbalyam Budais Shashvaj Geyam Hila Chaturvidam. Scholars consider Hriday Dorvalya to be of 4 types. There's 1, attachment to worthless objects, that is, objects unrelated to Krishna. 2, hypocrisy and deceit, kutinati. 3, envy upon seeing the prosperity of others. And 4, desire for prestige and position, pratishta. Krishnetara vishaye asakti kutinati paradroha pratishtasha eito chariti. Hriday dorbalya boli shastre nidharilo chai ripu chai urmi ihate janmilo. Jotadin esab anartha nahi chare, totadin bhaktilata kabu nahi bare. So having attachment to having asakti, attachment to vishaya, to objects which are krishnetar, which are directed away from Krishna. So to material objects that are, yeah. And putinati, this deceit and hypocrisy, duplicity. Paradroha, having enmity towards others, or being envious of others. And pratishta, pratishta asha, having the asha, the desire for pratishta, for prestige and name and fame. So, all these charity, these four, hriday dorbalya boli. This is called hriday dorbalya. This is what the Shastra, this is what is determined. Nirdharilo means what was determined in Shastra as hriday dorbalya. So the Chai Ripu, the 6 enemies. What are the 6 enemies? That's Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Pratishta. Wait, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Matsarya. Oh, wait, it's right here. Lust, anger, greed, delusion, pride, and envy. And the 6 urmi. Doesn't urmi mean waves? Urmi, sorry. Urmi, yeah, means waves. Huh. Okay, so the 6 enemies and the 6 waves are born from this hriday dorbalya. It arises in the heart. Jata din, eshab anartha nahi chade. So as long as one, as long, jata din means as many days or as long as one has not chade, has not given up eshab anartha, all these anarthas, jata din, for that long, bhakti lata kobu nahi bade. The creeper of bhakti, the vine of bhakti, will never, kobu nahi means never, body will never grow, it will never increase, it will never rise. This hriday dorbalya stunts the bhakti lata from growing. Okay, now we'll just read this Bhajana-rahasya briefly and then we're finished for today. Hriday dorbalya gives birth to 6 enemies: lust, kam, anger, krodha, greed, lobha, delusion, moha, pride, mada, and envy, matsarya. And their waves result in distress, shok, bewilderment, moha, hunger, shuddha, thirst, pipasa, old age, jara, and death, mrityu. The creeper of devotion cannot grow as long as one does not give up these anarthas. So tomorrow we will read about all the methods to destroy each one of these anarthas that we just went through today, these 16 anarthas that we went through. And the first verse is, all anarthas are nullified by Nam Sankirtan. So that's the first thing. All anarthas are nullified by Nam Sankirtan. But then there's more also. One has to take shelter of Sri Guru, gives us verses Dvitīya, and so many other things. So we'll be going over that tomorrow. Thanks for letting me go over time. It's good to finish. All right. I'll just do it. Oh, wait. Now we have our Chaturmasya program. Maybe I'll just say a little something about Tirthamaj just at the ends now. If anybody needs to go though, because I know, yeah, some people aren't able to stay longer than an hour. So if you have to go now, Dandavat Pranams, thank you so much for joining. And I'm just looking and, oh, and I see Kanna Sham Prabhu and Patita Pavani Didi and Bilbo Mangal Prabhu. Oh, you're in Jagannath Puri. Wow, wonderful. Please pay the Jagannath Day for me. And yeah, all other devotees, Dandavat Pranams and also. I'm not saying everybody's names now. I'll say that at the end. I didn't see you before. All right, so I'm just going to say a couple words about Tirthamaj. Just okay. Let's do quick. This is just a very informal, yeah, just remembrance of Tirthamaj. I don't even know what I'm going to say right now. I didn't think about it, but yeah. So in 2008, 2009, and 2010, I went on Bengal Prachar with Tirthamaj from Kartik, all the way from the end of Kartik, all the way till the first day of Navadip Parikrama. And we would travel through all these villages. We'd stay in 2 days in one village and then go to the next village and then stay there a couple days and then we go to the next village. And it was this constant traveling for the whole time. And I remember I never saw anybody work themselves, like exert themselves as much as I've seen to them. Like he worked so hard. So, and I don't even know when he would sleep because every morning when I'd wake up, he would be working, he'd be writing. He'd be, because he was translating these commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. And so he would do that. I remember going to the bathroom sometimes, like 3 o'clock in the morning. He'd always already be there with his he has this little flashlight on his head, and he'd already be writing or translating and working on these commentaries. And then um, in the morning time, then sometimes he would like we would go. What we were doing was we were collecting rice at the homes of all the people, and also inviting them to come for Navadip Parikrama. So it collects a little rice from each home. And sometimes Tirtha Maharaj, he would he wouldn't have time to eat breakfast. He would just stick some muri in his pocket. Sometimes I'd wash his clothes, and so sometimes his kurta pocket would have some muri in it because he just like stick some muri in his pocket because he didn't have time to eat breakfast. He has to go on Bhiksha, and so then he would go out and from door to door and talking to all the people and inviting them, and then he would come back and he'd give a morning class. And sometimes he'd give lots of days he'd give an early morning class, and then he would give a class before lunchtime. And then he would give an evening class. The evening class was always really long. The one before lunch was also pretty long. But yeah, 3 classes in a day. And in between the classes, he'd be going out on Bhiksha. Sometimes he'd go out on Bhiksha he'd go out in the afternoon also. And then he would come back and then give a class. And the class would always go on to really late, till like 10 o'clock. Well, no, not 10 o'clock, I'm exaggerating, but it'd go until pretty late. And every day was like this. And there wasn't a single moment like when he could stop. Sometimes after lunch, he'd be so tired and he'd fall asleep, and then immediately people would come and wake him up. And then people would just like go, Maharaj, Maharaj, and and then he'd get up. Like he hardly slept at all. And he was just constantly throughout the whole time, all those months, he would just be nonstop. There's never no rest, no taking a break. It was just constantly seeing people, going here, collecting like that, and then waking up before everybody and working on the publications. Like and then we'd also never settle. Like we're always moving to a new place. And so everybody that you see on our big Navadvip Parikrama, you see there like our Parikrama, I think out of all the mats and all the places, I think we had the biggest Parikrama. I'm not sure how big it is now because I haven't been going on the big Navadvip Parikrama, but I think it was like 20,000 people or something. I don't even think ISKCON had that big, like one party. ISKCON would have many different parties, like they divided up. Maybe ISKCON was bigger. I don't know, actually, no. But still, it'd be like 20,000 people on one party. I think that's the number. I could be wrong. But yeah, it's like overwhelming, actually, how many people are. But all those people, like the majority of them, came all from Tirtha Maharaj's preaching. And so yeah, he really, yeah, exerted himself so hard. I have some funny stories also, but I don't want to go on too long. Maybe I can share them at another time. Because there's so many very interesting situations when you're in Bengal and constantly traveling, and lots of things happen. But anyways, I can maybe some other time I could have remembrances of, but and also Tirtha Maharaj, he from such an early age, he joined the Mat when he was I forgot how old. Was he like 10 or something like that? Anyways, he was very young. I think he was 12 actually. And he ran away from home. He didn't know where he was going, and he turned up at the Mat. He was very sick. There's a whole story about that. He even went to jail because he was on a train without a ticket. I don't know. I can't remember all the details, but he has a very interesting story for when he joined the Mat. And so he was there from when he was a young boy, and he was personally trained in every way from Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj, but then also Srila Gurudev took him under his wing. When he was at a very young age, he went to Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura, and Gurudev trained him in all ways. So Gurudev has this like very this very intense parental affection because Gurudev pretty much raised Tirtha Maharaj. And Tirtha Maharaj at a very young age, he started studying very intensely. Tirtha Maharaj said that Gurudev wouldn't allow him to read Chaitanya Bhagavat or like books like Chaitanya Bhagavat with stories in them, because Gurudev wanted him to like go first into like the really intense tattva. Otherwise, if he just read the stories, then he wouldn't want to get into the intense tattva. He was like, no, I just want to read stories. And so Tirtha Maharaj, he went to Sanskrit school, and because he started at such a young age, so when you're young, you have a much better memory, right? And he was studying so intensely, remembering tons of shlokas. And his whole life was like that. So out of all the different Gaudiya Mats, I think Tirtha Maharaj had like, he was pretty up there and like having the most knowledge in his head, like the most verses and scriptural references and being able to, what it says in this commentary here. And like his brain, he knew like everything. It's like the encyclopedia, his brain is like that. And but even though he was so learned, he's so senior, and he did so much service, big service, he didn't hesitate to do very small, like even very lowly services that nobody else would do. For example, one time during Navadvip Parikrama, the Western toilets got clogged. And so the toilet was just like overflowing with stool. And nobody wanted to go in there and like, all this stool from Navadvip Parikrama time, all the people, nobody wanted to go in there and like unplug and drain the toilet. But this was Tirtha Maharaj's service in Keshivji Gaudiya Math growing up. And so for Tirtha Maharaj, he was used to doing that. He's used to cleaning the clogged drains like that. And so even though Tirtha Maharaj was a big sannyasi doing this big preaching, he's one of the main people of the Navadvip Parikrama, like, organizing everything and making sure everything is running smoothly and seeing what everybody's doing. And, but even though he was like such a big person, he just put on a gumsha and he went in there, stuck his arm in the toilet and, like just, and cleaned out this and unplugged, or unclogged, all the toilets that got overflowed. And so he was ready to do any type of service. He had this very intense, and so many things like that. So, yeah. And I don't like, just personally, I don't see Tirtha Maharaj like, we all have our own anarthas and faults, and I don't see Tirtha Maharaj as like being a Mahabhagavat. There are definitely things that are not totally, but there's no need to like, so the reason I'm mentioning is that I don't want to over glorify, but I also don't want to ignore his amazing qualities, like just extraordinary. Like I haven't seen these qualities that I'm mentioning, like I haven't seen them in anybody else. And nobody can deny that he had an extremely, like we can't even imagine how deep his intimacy and attachment is with Srila Gurudev from such a young age, and Gurudev raising him like that. Everything that Tirtha Maharaj knows, and so yeah. So I offer my pranam to him on this day that he left so early. So I offer my pranams to him on this day, and I pray that I also will be able to have such a intimate relation, like, intimate connection with Gurudev, and be able to even just one little tiny drop of the service mood that he had towards Srila Gurudev. I'm just praying that I have even just the slightest drop of that kind of enthusiasm to serve. So Jai Shripad Tirtha Maharaj ki Jai. All right. Okay, so that's my small little Puspanjali for Tirtha Maharaj on this day.
Haribol Prabhu, is it okay if I say a little bit about Tirtha Maharaj?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you mind turning on your camera? If you feel uncomfortable, turn on your camera. You don't have to, but
no, it's okay. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to everyone. Haribol. I first of all offer my humble obeisances upon the lotus feet of my Gurudev, my Diksha Gurudev, and then onto the lotus feet of all my Shiksha Gurudev, particularly Shripad Tirtha Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, Srila Narayan Maharaj. I've not personally met Shripad Tirtha Maharaj, but he graced us with his divine darshan and blessings when I got married to his disciple. And so whatever I know in bhakti, like everything, my nourishment in bhakti comes from Shripad Tirtha Maharaj, because I've grown in bhakti, hearing from him about him, from my husband, my Prabhu, and everything I know it is by his mercy that I've grown a close bond and firm faith in Srila Gurudev, Srila Narayan Maharaj, and he. I cannot describe in words how we feel when he left us, because of some health issues, I couldn't travel to India to meet him. But shortly after, a few years after our marriage, he left this world. It was a really big blow to us, because we always thought that once my health settles a bit, gets stable, we'll go to India, we'll shift to India, and then we'll be able to serve Maharaj, we'll be able to have his personal association. Unfortunately, Krishna had other plans. So I know it is he who instilled somehow that seed of love and affection for Srila Gurudev in my heart, because I have no other connection with the Mat. I am here in Mauritius, and I have only ISKCON devotees around me, and I'm being from ISKCON. So just my connection with my Prabhu, who is from the Mat, has developed this close affection to everyone, to all our Guru Varg, and especially if you also, Prabhu, your Harikatha, your Sangha is really precious to me. And you almost mentioned all the leelas, all the remembrances of Shripad Tirtha Maharaj that I know of. I mean, especially those that stood out to me, especially the one about him cleaning the toilets. That was one of the remembrances that I had that really stood out to me when I heard it from my Prabhu, like how being such a Sanskrit scholar, being the president of the GVP, he never hesitated to just put on his gamcha and go and do any kind of menial work. And I remember how my Prabhu was telling me how he got down into the septic tank and we used to remove everything, all the waste, without any other thing, with his bare hands. And he was so humble and simple-hearted. So I offer my humble obeisances millions of times unto his lotus feet. I know he's not here, but his kripa, his blessings is always here with us, guiding us, because where we are very devoid of devotee association. I mean, that kind of devotee association. We do have devotees around us, but it's not that level of devotee association that would really nurture us. So, and another incident my Prabhu was telling me before he left for work this morning was during Kartik Parikramas, whatever Kartik or Navdik Parikramas, he would make sure that all the devotees would be fed Mahaprasad first, and make sure everyone has eaten, and then he would go and take prasad. He would, even though everybody would tell him you should have something, Maharaj, but he was, no, this is my home and these are my guests. So until my atithis are not served, I cannot take prasad. So, and what else? I'm a bit spaced out, nothing much coming to my mind, but all his dedication, his service. And also I remember how my Prabhu used to tell me, like Maharaj, when he was small, when he came to the Mat, and Param Gurudev Srila Narayan Maharaj would ask him to go and get water from, I don't know if it's from Ganga or where, but he used to go and get water on the in matkas, and then he used to recite shlokas, remember shlokas. He would try to memorize shlokas on his way to get water. So I don't know how many shlokas he would memorize, but he had such a really captive brain, intelligent. Like he would just, on his way to the Ganga, while going there and coming back, he would have memorized I don't know how many shlokas. That was how really I am not getting the word, intelligent it was. And he had a really receptive brain. So, and all the sevas he did, especially organizing all the parikramas, he was very adept at it. And, and another thing about Harikatha, my Prabhu was telling me that he was ever ready to give Harikatha anytime, anywhere. He was telling me, even if he was busy, he was cooking, he would be cooking, and anyone would come and call him for Harikatha, he would be instantly ready and say, okay, chalo, let's go. And he would come and give Harikatha. He would speak for hours. And even in the middle of the night, if someone would wake him up and say, I want to hear something, and he would never hesitate. He would never let that opportunity go. So that was some of my remembrances about Maharaj. I thought that it wouldn't do justice if I don't say anything. My Prabhu isn't here, so as he would have said something, but I thought I should say, because he has a really big role in my life and our lives, actually. So my humble obeisances to Sripad Tirtha Maharaj, and I pray that his blessings be upon all of us, and we also be inspired by him through all his wonderful Vaishnav qualities that he has, and that we also may develop at least a drop of that humility and steadfastness in our service, devotional service. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Wow, Jai, beautiful. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. When you were speaking, you're like, all these remembrances were coming in my head, and like these different stories and things like that. And like, I'm kind of wishing we just did a program for Tirtha Maharaj right now, because it's like, now I'm getting all these. But yeah, thank you. That was very beautiful. Very grateful.
Thank you, Prabhu, for giving us this opportunity. Yeah. Everyone.
Rukmini Didi, would you like to share something?
Yes, Dandavat Pranams. Yeah, I was listening on YouTube. I actually came to the store and I was listening on YouTube, and then I actually remembered one very, I think it's a very short story. So I can just tell it quickly. So we had gone to on parikrama in Karthik. This was in Govardhan from Giridhari Gaudiya Math in 2010. And our mother was ill, but my sister and I had gone, so we got on the bus, and we were sitting in the front. And then Srila Tirtha Maharaj got on the bus, and we thought, oh, we should give up our seat, but he refused. He made us stay sitting in the front seat, and he was sitting on the railing in front of the bus rather than sitting on the bus. And so we were very embarrassed, but so then if I recall correctly, the bus was supposed to go to Javat, but this was this was still in the village of Govardhan. It was behind another bus, and the other bus that was in front of us broke down, and we saw that and it was not only keeping us from going forward, our bus, but it was blocking the whole road, and it was there for some time. And then we saw Srila Tirtha Maharaj. This is why he was sitting on the railing. He just hopped off the railing, got out, and he went and he got out and started pushing the other bus. I mean, Tirtha Maharaj, he's not like a very hefty person, but he actually started pushing the other bus. But it was actually effective, because then some other brahmacharis who were on our bus, someone said, hey, Tirtha Maharaj is pushing. And then they, who were much bigger and heftier than him, then they all also jumped out of the bus and got up, ran out and started pushing the other bus. But anyway, so I just remembered this incident, so I just wanted to share that. So Dandavat Pranams.
Wow, that's one thing. Tirtha Maharaj was so he was so like active, like anytime, any service, anywhere, like he was always there, always doing whatever needed to be done. And because he is always doing everything, then all the brahmacharis would be like, oh my God, we can't just like sit here and watch him. And so like all the brahmacharis also were very active. Like while Tirtha Maharaj was with us, like during Navadvip Parikrama, every brahmachari would be out serving prasad for every single thing. but now that Tirtha Maharaj has left, now it's just hired people who do it. No brahmacharis serve out prasad anymore, like doing the big Navadvip Parikrama or anything like that. You know, but when Tirtha Maharaj was there, because like what Vidyalala was saying, that that he wouldn't ever take prasad during prasad time. He would always wait till everybody was fed, and only after everybody was fed, only then would he actually eat himself, because he would be making sure that everybody got fed properly and that there was enough prasad and like that. And yeah, that is a very beautiful story about how he's ready to do any service at any time. And
I mean, something
making
literally
sure-
impossible to push a big bus full of pilgrims. I mean, wow. But they did
Yeah.
actually manage. I mean, with the help of the brahmacharis, they did manage to get the bus so that it wasn't blocking the road. Yeah.
Or like literally any kind of service, no matter how ridiculous it seemed. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Your mother also had a very sweet relationship with Tirtha Maharaj, didn't she?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
Wonderful.
But thank you.
Another
Dandavad
thing that
pranams.
came to my mind about Tirtha Maharaj just now is how he used to keep all the devotees in harmony whenever there was any kind of conflict amongst devotees. So he would always jump in and try to reconcile, make reconciliation, and make sure that everyone was on good terms and in a harmonious relationship. So it's really inspiring.
Yeah. And Tirtha Maharaj also, he never had this like big like on the big, I'm a guru and I am an acharya and like all these kinds of and so everybody and he would get so personal and comfortable and familiar with everybody. So everybody felt completely natural and relaxed in front of Tirtha Maharaj. Nobody ever felt like, oh, I'm in front of Tirtha Maharaj. I have to like even the brahmacharis and like Bengal Prachar and stuff like that. We would like we never had to like be all uptight in front of him. We would just be completely relaxed and like even like doing naughty things, like being not like watching TV or something like that. Like somebody has a TV there and we're just like watching like the National Geographic. I remember somebody had that. But like in front of Tirtha Maharaj, we didn't have that kind of like fear. And he was so comfortable and familial, like a family member to everybody, all the people in Bengal Prachar, and also very generous. Like somebody would say, like people, and because he was so generous, people would take advantage of him a lot, actually. But he would even give his own money to grihastas, to like poor villagers, who were, and he would provide medicine for them, food for them. He would give them all the grihastas. He would like in the small villages, he would give them so much. His own sweater, he would give somebody if they didn't have warm clothes, and he would just take what he's wearing even and like give it to that person, so that person had something warm to wear. Like his generosity was just, yeah, I haven't seen people, very rare to find somebody so generous and so comfortable and yeah, just and he didn't see a difference between, oh, this person's big and this person's small, and he had so much give so much attention and affection and everything to every person, no matter how small they seem to be. So yeah, Jai, Tirtha Maharaj ki Jai. All right, thank you. All right, so I want to keep this program going. We're just, if anybody needs to go now, Dandavad pranams, thank you so much for joining. But I want to keep this program that we're doing for Chaturmasya, just going through the Yam-sādhana. Well, first we're going through the first yam, the Nishanta part. And day after tomorrow, we will begin the Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. This program, we're just becoming familiar with it so that on our own we can practice it. This is just getting you like comfortable and understanding the words and like that. I think tomorrow maybe we'll do it because it will be our last day doing the Pratham Yam-sādhana for Nishanta, before the sun rises. So tomorrow we'll do it thoroughly and we'll look at the meaning of all the words very thoroughly. And so that will be our last time doing it. And then we are going to begin the Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana, which is second verse of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka, which we're going through now. Okay.
Sorry,
What am I? Yes, Hari Hari Prabhu.
I know. I just wanted to add how kind he was towards us, and especially at when we were there at the Samadhi and turning Gurudev into Samadhi, and he came very humbly. I mean, he was like you said, he made me feel a part of the family, the entourage with Gurudev, and he brought me over to this spot, and I said, "What do you think? I mean, should we have it here?" And he wasn't like, I said, "Prabhu, like give me too much importance, which I don't have really." And but he was so kind. So he brought me he took flowers from the samadhi and soil or dirt, from the sand from top Gurudev, and he said, "Here, So I have to this day in Hawaii. He said, "Do a pushpa samadhi for Gurudev," and he's ever so kind. He used to come and hug me like that. So yeah, I thought I should mention, say something in his honor.
Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Wow. And I'm sure that's the most valuable thing for you now. You have Gurudev's Pushpa Samadhi there now, huh? Because of Tirtha Maharaj.
Yes. Yes.
There's so many things to say about Tirtha Maharaj. So many wonderful and really funny and
I know,
wild, such a unique person. Like there's no other person like Tirtha Maharaj at all. And anyway, he's like very unique.
Well, energetic and like that. Like you said, the parikramas wouldn't be parikrama without him. I mean,
and the parikramas are a lot different without him. Like they're not. I don't want to say like too many negative things, but it's not the same at all. Like you can very much feel his not being there. It's like he preached the big ones. Yeah, you can feel his absence. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for having this remembrance of him. He surely deserves it.
Yes.
Haribol.
Okay, so now we are going through Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. Need to make a long A there. Yam. Okay, so today we're just, because it's very late, we're just going to recite everything. I won't go through the meaning anywhere, but as I said, tomorrow we'll go through this more thoroughly because it will be our last time reciting it. Tam nirvyajam bhajagunanidhe pavana pavananam shraddhara janmatirtitaram uttama shlokamolin prodyan anta karanakuhare antayannama bhanora abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim parama pavana krishna tahar charan nishkapata sah karo bhajan. Jar nama surya bhasa antare praveshi dvangsha kore mahapap antakara rashi. E Śikṣāṣṭake kohe Krishna lila kram ihate bhajane krame lilar udgam. Prathame prathama shlok bhajo kichu din Dvitīya shlokete tabe bhauto praveen. Chari shloke kramasha bhajana pakva koro Panchama shlokete nija siddha deha varo. Aishloke siddha dehe radha padashay Aramba koriya krame unnati uday. Chhay shloka bhajite anartha dure gelo Tabe jano siddha dehe adhikara hoilo. Adhikar na labhiya siddha deha bhave Viparjay buddhi janme shaktir abhave. सावधाने क्रम धरो जद्धि सिद्धि चाओ अधुर चरित देखी शुद्ध बुद्धि पाओ सिद्ध देह पे क्रमे भजन करिले अष्टकाल सेवा सुख अनायासे मिले शिक्षाष्टक चिंत करो स्मरण कीर्तन क्रमे अष्टकाल सेवा हवे उद्दीपन सकल अनर्थ जावे पावे प्रेम धान चतुर्वर्ग फल्गु प्राय हवे अदर्शन चेतो दर्पणमार्जनम भव महादावाग्नि निर्वापनम श्रेय कैरव चंद्रिका वितरणम विद्यावधु जीवनम आनंदम बुद्धिवर्धनम प्रतिपदम पूर्णामृतास्वादनम सर्वात्मा स्नपनम परम विजयते श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम पीतवरण कलि पावन गौरा गावाय ऐचन भाव विभोरा चित्त दर्पण परिमार्जनकारी कृष्ण कीर्तन जय चित्त विहारी हेला भव दाव निर्वापन वृत्ति कृष्ण कीर्तन जय क्लेश निवृत्ति श्रेय कुमुद विदुज्योत्स्ना प्रकाशा कृष्ण कीर्तन जय भक्ति विलास विशुद्ध विद्यावधु जीवन रूप कृष्ण कीर्तन जय सिद्ध स्वरूप आनंद पाय निधि वर्धन कीर्ति कृष्ण कीर्तन जय लावन मूर्ति पदे पदे पीयूष स्वाद प्रदाता कृष्ण कीर्तन जय प्रेम विधाता भक्ति विनोद स्वप्न स्नपन विधान कृष्ण कीर्तन जय प्रेम निदान रात्रान्ते त्रस्त वृंदे ऋत बहुवीरवैर्बोधितो कीरशारी पद्यार हृदयार अहृदयार अपि सुखशयनार उत्थितौ तौ सखीभिः दृष्टौ हृष्टौ तदात्वोदितरतिललितौ ककटिगी सशङ्कौ राधा कृष्णौ सतृष्णौ अपि निज निज धाम्नप्ततल्पौ स्मरामि देखिया अरुणोदय वृंद देवी व्यस्त होय कुंजे नाना रव पुराइलो शुक सारी पद्य शुनि उठे राधा नीलमणि सखी गान देखी हृष्ट होइलो कालोचित सुललिता ककटिर रवे भीता राधा कृष्ण सतृष्ण होइया निज निज गृहे गेला निभृते शयन कोइला दुहे भजी शे लीला स्मरिया हे लीला स्मर आर गाओ कृष्ण नाम कृष्ण लीला प्रेम दान पावे कृष्ण धाम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल जय श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय जय श्री देव की जय श्री परम गुरुदेव की जय श्री गोपाल की कोरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय सपा श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गान की जय श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय जय श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भजन रहस्य की जय जय श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय जय श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय जय श्री पाद भक्तिवेदांत तीर्थ महाराज की जय His disappearance day की जय जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsireva Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams Nari Hari Vibhu Bhavatharani Mataji Vidyalalasa Didi Rukmini Didi. Also pranams to your husband Vidyalalasa Didi. Pranams Rukmini Didi, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mataji, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see who stayed. We went way over 40 minutes over time now. Let's see who's there. Wow, a lot of people stayed. Okay, Dandavat Pranams, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Vidyalala. Okay, you're here on Zoom. Ganga Mataji, Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Shubhananda Prabhu, Bilva Mangala Prabhu, Patita Pavani Didi, Ghanasham Prabhu. I don't know who else is there. Maybe Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Krishna Mai Didi. Whoever is there, Dandavat Pranams. Also pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, Jai Prabhu, Manjari Didi, and everybody else. Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow to go over what are some of the remedies for getting rid of these anarthas. We'll read about Harinam Sankirtan, taking shelter of Shri Guru, these first verses of Upadeshamrita, and maybe we might, well, we'll see how far we get. But yeah, see you all for that tomorrow. Dandavat Pranams. So anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream?